So you're new to coffee, you've just bought yourself an expensive espresso machine and you want to get straight into enjoying great coffee in as few steps as possible. Well, in today's video, I'm going to show you how you can dial in as a beginner. No fuss, just the absolute basics to get the ball rolling and to get you started with making cafe quality drinks on your espresso machine. So let's get started. To dial in coffee, you're going to need a set of small scales and big scales. So a pair of small scales that fit underneath your espresso machine for weighing out your espresso, and a pair of large scales for weighing out the coffee. You're going to need a timer. You can just use your phone for this. And then, of course, a bag of coffee. Here I've got the Christmas blend by Origin Coffee Roasters. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to find the midway point on your grinder, the grinder settings. So you want to find the middle number, and you're just going to set your grinder to a medium setting, and that's going to be our starting position for the dialing in process. Most coffees tend to work best around the middle to fine grind size. Once you've set your grind size, you're going to dry out your portafilter with a dry cloth, preferably a microfiber cloth. You're going to place it on the scales, the big pair of scales, and you're going to tear off the scales. And then you're going to grab your coffee and just put a few beans in, like a good handful or two. Not too much, just to get started. And then you're going to take your portafilter and you're just going to grind a bit of coffee and dump that straight out. It's important to purge coffee out of the grinder, especially when you've had a different coffee on before. So now we're going to begin grinding our coffee. You're aiming for 18 grams into the basket, so that's what you're going to be weighing out. (18.1). So 18.1, 18.2, that's around 18 grams, so that's perfect. Then once you've weighed out 18 grams like this, you're going to give the side of the portafilter a few taps just to even out and level out that bed. And then you're going to give it a few taps on the counter. And then you're going to take your tamper and just tamp straight down. Right, so that is now tamped. So this is now ready to go into the espresso machine to make our first espresso shot. So just lock it straight into the espresso machine and then take the small scales, place it underneath, and a small cup, whatever cup that you'd like to catch your espresso into. Take your timer, and then the way that this is going to work is when we begin the brewing process, when we start the button on the machine, we're going to start the button on the timer at the same time. And then when the scales read 36 grams, we're going to stop the machine and the timer at the same time again. So we'll begin now. And then we're coming up to 36. A little over 36, but that's okay. And this is our espresso here. So the reason why we have a timer is to time the extraction. You see, water needs to be in contact with the coffee grounds for enough time in order to extract all of the flavors out of the coffee to make a good cup. Generally, we're aiming for a 25 to 30 second shot. So this one was 36 seconds, which means that this was a long shot, which means that we need to go back to our grinder and make our grind size coarser. So the grind size is the main way of controlling how the espresso extracts. So because this is a long shot, we're going to be going coarser, which makes the coffee granules larger, which means that water can pass through it easier. And then say, for example, this was a 20-second shot. What you would do is you'd make the grind size finer to make the particles smaller, which makes passing water through it more difficult, therefore lengthening the espresso extraction process. We're going to make our grind coarser. We need to empty out the used ground coffee. You can just knock these out into your general waste or food bin. I have a dedicated bin, so it will just go straight into there. So that was our first espresso. It went better than I was expecting. What we're going to do now is we're going to make sure that this is completely clear of all grounds from the previous brew. We're also going to run some water through the machine. All that does, just running the water through the machine, that just makes sure that there aren't any old coffee granules stuck up in the machine. So beginning the process again, we're going to grind a little bit of coffee. We're going to dump that out because we've changed the grind size, and then you're going to grind your coffee out like last time. Same thing as before, just a few taps on the side, a few taps on the counter, and then tamp. And now this one is ready to go into the machine. And then we're going to set it up just like before. Cup and scales, make sure those scales are tared. And your timer is reset. And then begin it just like last time. Again, a little over 36, but that's okay. And so this is our second espresso. This is 25 seconds, 37 grams instead of 36, just like the other one. The espresso has extracted within 25 to 30 seconds. It is on the shorter side of the spectrum, but that's okay. This coffee is now ready to use and can be used in different drinks. And that's the basic information that you need to dial in as a beginner. So if you like this video and want to see similar content in the future, subscribe, turn on notifications, give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you soon.